Hello. Hello from Boston. It's Mocktail Hour. I'm in my hotel room. I just got to Boston a little while ago and figuring things out. I've actually never done StreamYard from my phone, so I have my cell phone sitting in front of me here in the windowsill, which was the best place I could put it, given that I didn't bring a camera stand. And then I also have my iPad here, and I'm kind of just curious if I'll see myself going live, so I'll know that it's working. Okay, cool. I see myself. That's a good sign. All right. I don't know if you can hear me, and I don't want to turn the volume up here because that would feedback and not sound good. So hopefully it's working. If you want to leave me a comment, particularly in Facebook, which I have open here, and let me know that you can hear me, that would be wonderful. Ah, good news. Even though I can't hear myself, I actually see subtitles with the words I'm saying. This is a good sign. So I'm gonna take that as a positive and let it be. So, like I said, I am in Boston and I'm here because I am going to be attending a conference. It's a conference for cancer survivors, particularly cancer survivors who had Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is the kind of cancer I had in my early 20s. And we're meeting tonight at 6 at a reception for the first time. Most of us for the first time. I think there's supposed to be about 160 people total, and most of those people are survivors. So this is a pretty big deal. I think it's appropriate that it's in Boston, which is a place of a lot of history, and I feel like we're making a bit of history here today. Tomorrow will be a full day of talks, basically from experts in the field of survivorship, as well as some people, some panelists. I'm going to be on an afternoon panel with some pretty distinguished professionals. And we're all going to be talking about how to make survivorship better. And we're going to be talking about the risks survivors face and how to cope with those risks and how to mitigate those risks so we can live the best, healthiest, happiest lives possible. So I'm delighted to be here. And thank you so much. I do see that a couple of my friends have tuned in and commented that they can hear me and they're saying hi. Hi, Vanessa. Hi, Heidi. I don't have a way to show your comments to everybody. So when I get comments, I'll probably just talk about them. Today for my mocktail, I'm on the absolute last sip of this amazing drink. Carrot, green apple, lemon, honey, ginger, apple cider vinegar, and cinnamon. This is from an amazing vegan restaurant that my dad had found, and he knew I would love it. So my dad's so cool. He he met me at the airport, and he had the shuttle all figured out. So we took the shuttle together, and he took me to this amazing vegan restaurant, and we sat in these chairs that looked like hands, and the whole place was full of color, and it was beautiful. It was totally my kind of place. And it's so sweet. My dad's the best person to travel with. Another cool thing about my dad that relates to Mocktail Hour is he will send me photographs of menus when he's somewhere and they have mocktails, which is very cool. Okay. So, hope you guys are having a great weekend so far. And I hope this liquid refreshment, that last sip lasts me for the couple minutes I'm going to talk. I'm not going to talk for long. But I did want to pop on here because this is a ritual that I'm creating. It's a habit and a space that I want to nurture, and I want people to feel like they can tune in at 4:30 on Friday nights and they'll hear something from me. And I just think it's a nice space, and I want to nurture that. So I will do my best to keep it going through the summer. So you won't know what to expect though, because it's going to be a little bit different every time. Like if you tuned in last week, I had an amazing guest, Rob. You can hear the city sounds of Boston. I'm not sure if you can hear the car horns blaring outside, but yes, I am truly in a city. It's very cool. Different. But Rob was an awesome guest. We had a great discussion, a very in-depth discussion about his journey to sobriety. And I think, people who have become sober, who had problems with moderation, and addiction are survivors also, and so there's a theme here that kind of connects in general. It's different, obviously it's different than going through the whole cancer thing. There's a unique t-shirt for that. I did the chemo, I did the radiation, I lost my hair. That's a whole journey. It's incredibly life-changing, and sometimes means life transitioning to the next, plane. But anyway, survivorship means staying here and being here and showing up for your life every day, no matter what happens. And, sober people do that too. And so today I wanted to talk about surrender. So I was actually thinking about this because one of the reasons I was thinking about this is my husband and I recently got a new car. We traded in our Lexus ES, which was a hybrid, so it was part electric. We traded that in for a 2021 Tesla. We just got it. He picked it up yesterday, and he drove me to the airport in it today. Tesla has a feature, an autopilot feature. You may be familiar with that, you may not. But an autopilot, basically, you just click the little handle, the side handle on the side of the steering wheel, and it'll start driving you. And there is a little bit of a metaphor that could be drawn to the experience of surrender. It's recently come up a couple times actually, where, what do you like? Yeah, it's one thing to quit drinking and not drink and not give in to your vices when things are going good, you're feeling healthy, life is shiny, people are being nice, you're getting the things you want, things are working for you. That's one thing. But what about when life sucks? What about when everything turns to yuck? And what about when things are really, really hard and you don't necessarily want to get out there and face what you're facing again another day? What about when you feel defeated? What then? For somebody who has an addiction, especially an active addiction, their addiction at that moment screams out to them to give into it. They want anything but to feel what they're feeling. They want to escape into a different state of mind or a fantasy or some other kind of feeling than the one they're having. And so that can obviously become a cycle. Like that's obvious, but what do you do? What do you do when stuff gets really bad, when stuff gets really hard? And I'll be a little bit honest here. I'm about to release a book, and you're gonna read it in the book if you read my book. But when I had cancer in my 20s and I had some of those really hard days where I wasn't necessarily going through the treatment, but I was feeling not great and I was tired of the long journey that is the battle of cancer. It went on for months. It went on for like almost a year. There were some really, really like long days, and I would drink sometimes. And that is in my story. It's part of the blogs I wrote. My mom and I fought about it. She would worry about me. She didn't want me to drink during chemo. Not while actively getting it, but, during the period of months I was receiving it. And for me, that was my escape. That was my escape button. It was like, that is something I would do to feel a little bit better. And so, here's what I think. Well, here's what I know. I know it wasn't best for me. I know I wouldn't do that I wouldn't do that the same way this time. If I ever have to do that again, I hope I do not. I would not do that. I know a lot more about alcohol than I was willing to be aware of before. Like, I know how it is a toxin and everything. And I also know, perhaps even more importantly, how much it held me back from growth. I know that every time I chose to drink instead of go through the experience fully, and feel it fully and show up for it fully, that I was missing out on some growth. I was holding myself back from some growth. Everything that happens in your life is for your growth. I believe this completely. I mean it, whether from the religious perspective of learning lessons, and being a spiritual being, having this human experience, to the scientific, a more scientific approach. If we think about evolution and we think about human beings, um, and creatures evolving on the planet, I mean, we have experiences so we can grow. If every single thing that happened to us was easy and fun and pleasurable in the most shallow sense of the word, we would not be able to grow, I don't think. um, Personally, I recognize that for years I held myself back from deep growth, um, because I relied on um, alcohol and substances to alleviate my anxiety, my inner turmoil, and my fear. And so my my message today is about experiencing everything life has to offer you, even the stuff that sucks. Um, and so sometimes you just have to surrender. Um, and I know those moments will come for me. They have, and I know I'll have them again, where I just have to be like, it might be a prayer. It might be like, God, I don't like this. God, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I know you're with me, and I know I will. And I trust you. So let's go. Let's do this. Um, but I fully believe that, um, that's sometimes the best you can do. Oh, the good news is there's always light at the end of the tunnel, and sometimes we may not know what that light looks like at the end of life. At the end of life, um, you know, I don't know exactly what it's going to look like when I let go and fully surrender this life, um, to God, and to just let it go, like the ultimate letting go. And in this stage of the journey, I don't know what that looks like, but I know that I trust that it's going to be okay. And so, yeah, that's it. I know it's like really like kind of heavy, but when I walked into this hotel today, there was a song playing on the radio. It was at To Everything, Turn, Turn, Turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. I was like, oh my gosh, like, yes, like I don't know. That's really what it is. It's to everything there's a season. And we may not necessarily understand why we go through the seasons we go through. And that the things that happen in our life may not make sense to us at all at the time. And it definitely might not make sense to somebody outside you looking in. But at the end of the day, it doesn't have to make sense to be, part of your life story. Some of it just isn't going to make sense to us right now, right here. So that's where the faith comes in. That's where the surrender comes in. Um, and just being willing to show up for all of it, willing to be a survivor, willing to keep your eyes open, keep your heart open, and willing to use every single thing that comes your way to grow and become who you were meant to be. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed this message from Boston, and I hope that you have a great night. Before we go, I'm going to just show you like what it looks like outside my window, because I think that would be kind of cool, um, to show you what I've been looking at as I'm looking out the window talking to you. um, and I hope you have a great weekend. So thanks for tuning in. I will plan to be back next week. And yeah, I'm going to show you outside, and then I'm going to turn the video off. But thanks for tuning in. So I don't know if you can see that, but basically I'm looking at a construction, like an under construction building, really bright sun setting. There's a clock over there, really cool clock tower, and then a really cute, kind of like cute looking apartment building with some courtyards that are really nicely, with some nicely manicured foliage. All right, farewell. Bye. I actually don't know how to. Oh, bye. I see how to do it now. Bye.